Hey guys, finally I'm doing my AnimeNext Afterthoughts video. So here we go. Now since I was able to vlog every day and upload every day during the trip, this Afterthoughts video should be relatively short. Not to mention I also have the script right next to me, so that I do not spend too much time with verbal comments. Okay, so let's start with day 0 of the trip. As I had said, all my friends had work that Thursday, so we ended up going down to New Jersey at around 5:30. Okay, traffic. Stamford sucks when it comes to traffic. Well, both Stamford and New Haven. Anyway, so this year, rather than using I-95 the entire way, I chose to avoid the George Washington Bridge and just use I-287 the entire way down. It wasn't exactly faster. Well, maybe it was when you factor in the time that would have been lost sitting in the Cross Bronx Expressway. That's the area that leading up to the George Washington Bridge, right? That's what it's called, right? Well, anyway, 287 was definitely a much smoother and less stressful ride. I mean, around the White Plains area, I believe it was the Cross Westchester Expressway. There was definitely traffic that my friend and I were sitting in for a while. By the way, we took 2 cars down. But the big difference between that area and the Cross Bronx Expressway is the openness of the area. The Cross Bronx is closed in, cramped, and has a lot of trapped heat. It is a very stressful area to be waiting around in. The Cross Westchester is so much nicer. The area is more open and the lanes are a little wider. It's just a much more comfortable wait. Anyway, after getting over the Tappan Zee Bridge, it was mostly smooth sailing the rest of the way down to the Holiday Inn where we stayed for the weekend. Let's see. Rest of the day we got our badges, unloaded our cars, went to Ruby Tuesday for dinner, went back to the hotel. End of day 0. Okay, onwards to day 1. So for most of the day I just walked around a lot, took some pictures, spent quite a bit of time in the dealer's room, and made a pretty big purchase for the weekend. I'll talk about that in a moment. Didn't really go to any panels that day though. Well, that's not entirely true. I did go to see the Kyle Herbert Presents Dragon Ball, a Dragon Ball Evolution roast. Yeah, I know Dragon Ball Evolution was a crap movie, but seems like Kyle Herbert felt that way as well. So yeah, that was fun, watching the movie and hearing random commentaries from Kyle, as well as a few outbursts from pretty much everyone in the room in unison. Not sure if that's the correct word to use or not. Trying to think of a word that means everyone all of a sudden all said the same thing at the exact same time. That word. Anyway, aside from that, I didn't really go to any other panels on day 1. I did get in line for Cosplay Burlesque 2 hours early though. It was definitely worth the wait. At Otakon, I had managed to get into the 4th row from the stage. At AnimeNext this year, I was able to get into the 3rd row. Sure, 3rd row sounds pretty impressive on its own, but what makes this row even more awesome is the fact that it is directly behind the VIP rows. This just excites me so much. I remember going to the very first Cosplay Burlesque show and how far back seated I was. It just seemed like every show of theirs that I go to, I keep getting closer and closer to the front. End of day 1. Now for day 2. Day's a bit cloudy in my memory now. But I do remember the first thing I went to was the AMV contest screening. I might have taken a few pictures along the way. Submitted my votes for that. Never did find out who won though, since I didn't go to a masquerade. For one thing, the lines for masquerades are always ridiculous. Always. In any case, I wanted to be sure I got dinner before I got in line for the Cosplay Burlesque Q&A panel. Also wanted to go to the Panty Stocking sneak peek / Q&A panel as well, but that one ended way too close to the Cosplay Burlesque one. Anyway, got in line for the Burlesque Q&A panel. Met some awesome fellow fans in line. After the panel was over and we, well the guys anyway, had to clear out the room, I got to say hi to Murners first and ask her to sign the picture that I had gotten at Otakon last year. This one right here. Alright. So there's that. Oh, that reminds me. That weekend, I also got a chance to say hi to Esmeralda May, Spooky Velvet, Alan Ride, Luna Chase, Lily Stitches, and Knack. I could have also said hi to Victoria Belmont, but for some reason I always freeze up around her. I mean, it's not the first time I've met her, but I can still always manage to freeze up. Every time. Anyway, after the panel, it was either stick around and wait for the How to Burlesque workshop to end and then go in for the How to Boylesque workshop, or head for the rave and hope to find my friends there. They weren't there though. In fact, they kinda just called it a night when they saw how ridiculous the line was, so I kinda just called it a night as well. Oh, one more thing about day 2. My friends cosplayed Dragon Ball characters for that day. If you saw a group of Dragon Ball cosplayers that day, most likely some of them were my friends. At one point we went to a meet and greet for Kara Edwards and Lee Clark, and my friends got pictures taken with them. End of day 2. Alright, day 3 and final day. I was originally planning on going to see the cosplay chess game, but I also wanted to get breakfast with my friends. The entire weekend breakfast was always a bit on the late side because I wanted to wait for them to wake up. Plus we had packing and checkout to take care of. So I ended up not going to cosplay chess again. I swear, one of these years I will go to a cosplay chess game. Seriously, after all these years of anime cons, I've still yet to go to one. So originally this day I was thinking I would go to maybe the closing ceremony, since I missed the opening on Friday. Yeah, didn't happen. In fact, I spent half of day 3 just walking around the artist alley and dealer's room one last time, as well as taking pictures. Then I spent the rest of the day waiting around for a video shoot for Steampunk Studio. Yes, even when they are at a completely different convention from me, I'm still recording for them. Especially since we had one other crew member down at AnimeNext. By the way, ConnectiCon, I'm going, and so is Steampunk. End of day 3. Well, end of AnimeNext, day 3. After my friends and I had left the con, on our way home, we made a traditional stop at Mitsuwa. Then we were homeward bound, and for the most part it was smooth sailing. Until we reached Stamford. From there, at some point between Stamford and Norwalk, we just couldn't stand the traffic on I-95 anymore. So we took the first exit we found, and then went on to the Merritt Parkway. Then it was smooth sailings all the way home. Sort of. So that's it for this year's AnimeNext trip. Now, time for the stuff I bought. Dealer's room, I didn't really buy much. Although I did make a pretty big purchase at AnimeNext. These are Necomimi's. They've been around in Japan for over a year now, and I bought what I believe to be one of the first to be available in the US. So, not that any of you really care, These ears basically move based on the amount of electrical activity going on in your brain. It employs a miniature EEG technology, like that, the sensor right there, and right here, right? This goes onto your forehead, this goes over your left ear. Employs a miniature EEG technology in order to determine just how these ears will move. EEG is a test that measures brain activity. So the concept is, the more relaxed you are, the less brain activity there's going to be, the more droopy these ears are going to be. The more engaged you are, the more brain activity there is going to be, and the more perked up these ears are going to be. So anyway, these things are freaking expensive. Alright, I'm not gonna lie to you, they are freaking expensive. But I am glad that I picked up a pair at AnimeNext, since they're even more expensive online. Yeah. Next up is my usual souvenir from AnimeNext, a t-shirt. Wanted to get a double XL, but those sold out really quickly, so oh well, got an XL. Now the next item didn't really cost me anything. It's a Panty Stocking poster. Free at the Funimation table. Now I just need to patiently wait for a convention where the voice actors will be gathering to get them to sign it. Then again, why bother when I could just have them sign the DVD box instead? So that's it for the deals room. Now for Artist Alley. So I didn't buy much in the deals room, and I bought even less in Artist Alley. Here they are. My only purchase in the Artist Alley. In case I haven't made it painfully obvious yet by now, I'm a huge fan of Panty Stocking with Garterbelt. Anyway, everything else in the Artist Alley either cost more than I wanted to pay, or I had already bought them at a previous con. Understandably, the reign of Final Fantasy X and X-2 girls have come to somewhat of an end. So I didn't really find anything Riku that I didn't already own. But I was once again disappointed to find nothing Fang related. In fact, I hardly saw anything Final Fantasy 13 and 13-2 related. Anyway, that's it for AnimeNext 2012. My friends and I have already pre-reg for AnimeNext 2013, and I'm currently looking into hotel reservation. Now, I didn't take many videos this year, but I did take more photos this year than I did last year. So this has been my afterthoughts for this year's AnimeNext, and now I leave you all with a montage of my pictures this year. Let me know if you see yourself.